Hi there, Pastor Kristen here with devotions for Thursday, February 17th, 2022. One of the most fondly remembered lessons from the early part of our 6th, 7th grade confirmation year this year has been the day we studied the story of Joseph and his coat with sleeves and his many brothers and the events that ensued when they became jealous of his dreams. We did an impromptu skit that day. We used a side table as the pit in which Joseph got flung, and my robe became his coat with sleeves, and the kids still talk about it. They loved it. They loved acting out that story. I think throwing Ewan in the pit was one of the most fun parts, perhaps. But also because the themes of sibling rivalry are so real. And even though most of us have not lived them to the extremes of this story of selling a sibling into slavery or leaving him for dead in a pit, we can relate on some level. One of our texts for this coming Sunday comes from Genesis chapter 45, and it's the end of this Joseph story and one of my favorite scenes in the entire Hebrew scriptures. A couple of the verses here, Genesis 45, verse 4, "Then Joseph said to his brothers, 'Come closer to me.' And they came closer. He said, 'I am your brother Joseph, whom you sold into Egypt. And now do not be distressed or angry with yourselves because you sold me here. For God sent me before you to preserve life.'" And so it ends with him kissing and hugging and embracing his brothers, and all of them, engaged in this scene of reconciliation. One of our verses from our gospel text this day tells us, "Be merciful as your Father in heaven is merciful." Be merciful because God is merciful. And it occurs to me that being merciful is an exercise of power, right? The act of being merciful means that by rights, by authority, by power, you could exercise judgment. You could expect punishment. And that would be fair. It would be fair for Joseph in his position of power to exact some kind of punishment, some kind of retribution from his brothers for having so gravely wronged him and betrayed him. And yet he chooses to be merciful. Being merciful is a choice we make in how we use our power. Being merciful is a choice we make not to hold something against somebody. I wonder how we're wielding that power this week. Certainly there are times when we need to stand up and advocate for justice. Certainly there are times when justice needs to prevail and we need more of it. But I wonder too about how we wield this power called mercy. The power to forgive. The power to let a wrongdoing or a slight or an insult or even something more serious than that fade into the past. Let a betrayal not be the end of a relationship. That's mercy in action. And it's an action that God has performed on our behalf towards us over and over and over again. So taking a cue from Joseph, looking perhaps to begin with at those who are closest to us, those we most often rub up against in life, we might think about how we exercise mercy this week. Giving thanks for the mercy that God shows towards us in our offenses against God, but also in thanks for this power we have to work for reconciliation by the right exercise of mercy in our own lives. God be merciful to you, and God bless you in the act of being merciful to others. Amen.